Chinese corporation Huawei, controversially blacklisted in 2012 by the US Government Intelligence Committee, was the world's largest equipment manufacturer in which sector at that time? Telecoms. As of 2012, the Chinese corporation Huawei was recognized as the world's largest telecommunications equipment manufacturer. The company became a subject of significant controversy, notably being blacklisted by the US Government Intelligence Committee due to national security concerns. This highlights the strategic importance of the telecoms sector and the geopolitical implications of dominant technology companies. In what US state was Custer's last stand? Montana. Custer's last stand, formerly known as the Battle of the Little Bighorn, took place in 1876 in what is now southeastern Montana. It was a decisive victory for a coalition of Lakota Sioux, Northern Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors against the 7th Cavalry Regiment of the U.S. Army, led by Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer. The battle remains a pivotal event in the history of the American Indian Wars. The Scottish-American industrialist and philanthropist Andrew Carnegie, 1835–1919, pioneered and made his vast fortune in which industry in late 1800s USA? Steel. Andrew Carnegie, a prominent Scottish-American industrialist, amassed his immense fortune in the late 19th century by pioneering the steel industry in the United States. His company, Carnegie Steel Company, dominated the American market through vertical integration and efficient production methods. Carnegie later became a leading philanthropist, dedicating most of his wealth to education, libraries, and peace initiatives. What is Africa's second largest country by area, abbreviated to DRC? Democratic Republic of the Congo. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, is the second largest country in Africa by area, after Algeria. It is located in Central Africa and is rich in natural resources, though it has faced significant political instability. Likud, meaning, the consolidation, was the leading conservative political party in 2012 of which country? Israel. Likud, a major right-wing political party in Israel, has played a dominant role in the country's politics since the late 1970s. Founded by Menahem Begin, it advocates for a strong national security policy and a free market economy. What are the three most widely spoken Slavic languages? Russian, Polish, Ukrainian. The Slavic languages form a branch of the Indo-European language family, primarily spoken in Eastern Europe, the Balkans, and parts of Central Asia. Russian, Polish, and Ukrainian are among the most widely spoken, reflecting the historical and cultural prominence of these nations. What type of musical instrument is a cabasa? Percussion. A cabasa is a percussion instrument often used in Latin music, consisting of a cylinder with loops of steel ball chain wrapped around it. It produces a rattling, scraping sound when shaken or twisted, adding rhythmic texture to music. The 2500th anniversary of whose birth was celebrated in China in 1949? Confucius. Confucius, 551–479 B.C., was an influential Chinese philosopher, teacher, and political theorist whose ideas formed the basis of Confucianism. His teachings, emphasizing morality, ethics, and social harmony, have profoundly shaped Chinese culture and East Asian thought for over 2 millennia. The human brain represents roughly what percentage of the body's resting metabolic rate, energy expended? 20%. The human brain, despite being only about 2% of the body's weight, consumes a disproportionately high amount of energy. This 20% consumption of the resting metabolic rate highlights the brain's intensive metabolic demands for maintaining its complex functions. What chemical elements occupy atomic numbers 1, 2 and 3 in the periodic table? Hydrogen, helium, lithium. The periodic table organizes elements by atomic number, which represents the number of protons in an atom's nucleus. Hydrogen, helium, and lithium are the first three elements, fundamental to understanding chemical properties and atomic structure. Lebanese-American professor, author Nassim Taleb coined the term, "what color, what creature," referring to an unpredictable random event that has a vast societal, political, economic impact. Black Swan. The black swan theory, popularized by Nassim Nicholas Taleb, describes an event that comes as a surprise, has a major effect, and is often inappropriately rationalized after the fact with the benefit of hindsight. It emphasizes the extreme impact of rare, unpredictable events on society. What word prefixes funding and sourcing in creating modern terms for extending ownership and responsibility to a user community? Crowd. Crowd is a prefix used in terms like crowdfunding and crowdsourcing, which describe the practice of obtaining money or services from a large number of people, typically via the internet. These concepts signify a shift towards distributed participation and collective intelligence in modern finance and project management. Wire-upper is regarded as the first modern what? Road. The wire-upper, or Appian Way, was one of the earliest and most strategically important Roman roads. Its advanced engineering, including a sophisticated drainage system and use of tightly fitted stones, made it a prototype for durable, long-distance infrastructure, essentially the first modern road. What was ex-Italian leader Silvio Berlusconi's first criminal conviction, October 2012? Tax evasion. Silvio Berlusconi, a former Prime Minister of Italy, was convicted of tax evasion in October 2012. This conviction was a landmark legal event for a prominent European political figure, highlighting issues of corporate finance and legal accountability at the highest levels of power. Who created the controversial 66-feet statue Verity, loaned to UK seaside town Ilfracombe in 2012? Damien Hirst. Verity is a striking bronze statue by Damien Hirst, known for its anatomical detail and depiction of a pregnant woman holding a sword. Loaned to Ilfracombe in 2012, it sparked considerable public discussion due to its size, subject matter, and Hirst's controversial artistic style. Research published in 2012 by the University of Rio de Janeiro identified what capability as the fundamental enabler of increased brain size in human evolution? Cooking. Research suggests that the development of cooking allowed early humans to extract more nutrients from food with less energy expenditure, providing the necessary caloric intake to fuel larger and more complex brains. This theory positions cooking as a crucial factor in human evolutionary biology and cognitive development. Named after a children's story character, what is the informal astrobiological term for the region around a star within which a planet with surface water could theoretically exist? Goldilocks zone. The Goldilocks zone, or habitable zone, refers to the range of orbits around a star where a planet can sustain liquid water on its surface, a key requirement for life as we know it. Planets within this zone are considered prime candidates for hosting extraterrestrial life due to their moderate temperatures. The attempted assassination of 15-year-old Mullah Yousafzai by the Taliban, in response to her championing the right of girls to education, took place in what country? Pakistan. Mullah Yousafzai, a Pakistani activist for female education, survived an assassination attempt by the Taliban in 2012. Her advocacy for girls' education gained international attention, leading to her becoming the youngest Nobel Peace Prize laureate in 2014. The astronomical term, quasi-stellar radio source, is more commonly expressed as what abbreviated word? Quasar. A quasar is an extremely luminous active galactic nucleus, powered by a supermassive black hole. These highly energetic objects are among the brightest and most distant celestial bodies in the observable universe, playing a crucial role in understanding cosmic evolution. A hang is what sort of musical instrument? Percussion. The hang is a unique steel percussion instrument, often referred to as a handpan, developed in Switzerland. It produces resonant and ethereal tones when played with the hands, making it popular in world music and meditative contexts. The Chalarophyraxina fungal disease afflicts trees. Chalarophyraxina, commonly known as ash dieback, is a destructive fungal disease primarily affecting ash trees. It causes leaf loss, crown dieback, and bark lesions, posing a significant threat to ash tree populations across Europe and beyond. Accounting for approximately 30% of total global tax revenues, what form of tax did France introduce in 1954, West Germany in 1968, the UK in 1973, and China in 1984? VAT. Value-added tax, VAT, is a consumption tax levied on goods and services at each stage of production and distribution. It is a major source of government revenue in many countries worldwide, playing a central role in modern fiscal policies. What make of aircraft is considered the first jet to fly? Heinkel. The Heinkel He-178, a German aircraft, made its maiden flight on August 27, 1939, becoming the world's first aircraft to fly exclusively on turbojet power. This pioneering achievement marked a revolutionary milestone in aviation, fundamentally transforming aircraft design and performance. What is the process called by which cardinals meet to elect a new pope? Conclave. A papal conclave is the assembly of the College of Cardinals convened to elect a new Bishop of Rome, also known as the Pope. This unique electoral process is steeped in centuries of tradition and plays a crucial role in the leadership of the Roman Catholic Church. Broadly, what period marked the Industrial Revolution? 1750 to 1850. The Industrial Revolution, spanning approximately 1750 to 1850, was a period of major industrialization and innovation that saw significant technological advancements, particularly in Britain. It led to profound socio-economic and cultural changes, transforming agrarian and handicraft economies into industrial and machine manufacturing ones. What did the Continental Army become in 1784? The United States Army. Following the American Revolutionary War, the Continental Army was largely disbanded, and its remnants, primarily a single infantry regiment and an artillery company, were formally redesignated as the United States Army in 1784. This transition marked the formal establishment of the nation's permanent military force. Which country is associated with the Internet Top-Level Domain, TLD, suffix, ZA? South Africa. ZA is the country code top-level domain, CCTLD, for South Africa. Country code TLDs are two-letter domains established for countries or dependent territories, reflecting their geographic identity in the domain name system. Who is the prominent husband of the renowned Chinese singer Peng Liying? Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping is the current president of the People's Republic of China and General Secretary of the Chinese Communist Party, making him one of the most powerful political figures globally. His marriage to Peng Liying, a celebrated folk singer and former Major General in the People's Liberation Army, often attracts international attention. What term refers to the method, typically prehistoric, of attaching a sharp stone or bone to a stick or strap to create a tool or weapon? Hafting. Hafting is the process of attaching a handle or haft to a tool or weapon, such as an axe head or spear point. This ancient technique was crucial in prehistoric societies for enhancing the efficiency and usability of tools made from stone, bone, or antler. The law of the instrument, which describes the tendency to rely solely on one familiar approach, is popularly known as Maslow's what? Hammer. Maslow's hammer, or the law of the instrument, is a cognitive bias that states, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. This idiom, often attributed to Abraham Maslow, describes the overuse of a familiar tool or method, even when it's inappropriate for the problem at hand. The Christian Saint Christopher is most commonly depicted carrying whom across a swollen river? Jesus Christ. Saint Christopher, a widely venerated saint in Christian tradition, is famously depicted carrying the Christ child across a treacherous river. This iconic representation symbolizes his role as a patron saint of travelers and a protector against sudden death. Name the autonomous region in northeastern Spain that frequently experiences strong independence lobbying. Catalonia. Catalonia is an autonomous community in Spain with a distinct culture and language. A significant portion of its population seeks independence, leading to ongoing political tensions and movements for self-determination within the European context. DNA evidence suggests that which group of people were the original colonizers of North America? Asians. Genetic and archaeological evidence strongly indicates that the initial human populations of North America migrated from Asia across the Bering Land Bridge during the last ice age. These early migrants are the ancestors of modern indigenous peoples of the Americas. The earliest human use of fire for cooking has been dated to approximately how many years ago? 1 million years. Evidence suggests early hominids, possibly Homo erectus, began controlling fire for cooking around 1 million years ago. This development was crucial for human evolution, enabling better nutrient absorption, detoxification of food, and protection from predators. What is the common term for the chemical process where substances like glue, varnish, or filler harden as polymer chains become cross-linked due to factors such as UV radiation, mixing, or heat? Curing. Curing is a chemical process that leads to the toughening or hardening of a polymer material through cross-linking of polymer chains. This process is essential in many industrial applications, including the manufacture of coatings, adhesives, and composites, often initiated by heat, radiation, or catalysts. The word sapiens in Homo sapiens signifies what characteristic? Wise. The scientific name Homo sapiens translates from Latin to wise man. This designation reflects humanity's distinguishing cognitive abilities, including advanced reasoning, language, and tool making, which differentiate us from other hominid species. QR, Aztec, Cyber, and Data Matrix are all types of what technological identification system? Barcodes. Barcodes are optical machine-readable representations of data that describe aspects of the object to which they are attached. While traditional linear barcodes are common, two-dimensional barcodes like QR codes and data matrix codes can store more information and are widely used for various applications, from product tracking to mobile payments. Which historical or religious figure is represented by some of the tallest statues in the world? Buddha. The Buddha is depicted in numerous colossal statues globally, reflecting his profound significance in Buddhism and world culture. Several of the world's tallest statues, such as the Spring Temple Buddha and the Laikyon Sekya Buddha, honor him, serving as major pilgrimage sites and cultural landmarks. In which continent was the word trek first widely used in its current context of a long, arduous journey? Africa. The word trek gained prominence through its association with the Great Trek in southern Africa during the 19th century. This historic migration involved thousands of Boers moving inland from the Cape Colony, establishing the term's meaning as a difficult and often prolonged journey. In 1515, the Court of Aldermen of the City of London established which trade as preeminent, based on economic and political power, among an enduring list of livery companies. Mercers. The Mercers Company is the premier livery company of the City of London, ranking first in the order of precedence. Founded in the 12th century, it historically represented general merchants dealing in fine silks and other costly goods, wielding significant economic and political influence in London. In astronomy, the Ptolemaic system asserts that Earth is universally central. The Ptolemaic system, or geocentric model, was an astronomical model that asserted Earth was the stationary center of the universe. This model, dominant for over 1,400 years, described celestial bodies orbiting Earth in complex deferent and epicycle patterns. Litmus, used in acidity testing, is extracted from lichen. Litmus is a water-soluble mixture of different dyes extracted from lichens. It is primarily used as a pH indicator to test for acidity or alkalinity, turning red in acidic solutions and blue in alkaline solutions. What is the English name or translation of the Sir Purdue process of bronze casting? Lost wax. Sir Purdue, or the lost wax casting method, is a process for duplicating a metal sculpture from an original sculpture. This ancient technique involves creating a wax model, encasing it in a mold, melting out the wax, and then pouring molten metal into the cavity. Auger, reel, fan, sieves, stripper beater, and cutter bar are parts of what large piece of machinery? Combine harvester. A combine harvester is a versatile machine designed to efficiently harvest a variety of grain crops. It combines the functions of reaping, threshing, and winnowing in a single process, making it essential for modern large-scale agriculture. Name the steel-driving railway worker from U.S. folklore who raced and defeated a newly introduced steam-powered hammer, but died after his efforts. John Henry. John Henry is a legendary African-American folk hero, celebrated as a steel-driving man who worked on railroad construction. His legend depicts him in a race against a steam-powered rock drilling machine, which he won before collapsing and dying, symbolizing the struggle between man and machine. The poise, pronounced poise, is a unit of measuring viscosity. The poise, P, is a unit of dynamic viscosity in the centimeter-gram-second, CGS, system of units. It is named after Jean-Leonard Marie Poiseuille and measures the resistance of a fluid to shear stress, essentially how thick, or sticky, a fluid is. The Ottoman Empire, 1299 to 1922, is otherwise defined as the empire of what modern nationality? Turkish. The Ottoman Empire, one of the longest-lasting empire in history, was a Turkish imperial state that succeeded the Seljuk Sultanate. Its vast territories included much of Southeast Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, with its legacy significantly influencing the modern Republic of Turkey. What branch of alternative medicine using natural oils derives its name from ancient Greek for spice? Aromatherapy. Aromatherapy is a holistic healing treatment that uses natural plant extracts, known as essential oils, to promote health and well-being. The term is derived from the Greek words, aroma, fragrance or spice, and therapeia, healing. The New Model Army and the Levelers were groups in which war? English Civil War. The New Model Army was Parliament's professional army during the English Civil War, instrumental in its victory. The Levelers were a political movement advocating for popular sovereignty, extended suffrage, and equality, prominent during the same period of the English Civil War, 1642 to 1651. A graviton is a term in which field of study? Physics. In theoretical physics, a graviton is a hypothetical elementary particle that mediates the force of gravity. It is the quantum of gravitational radiation within the framework of quantum field theory, though it has not yet been experimentally detected. What wheel-based metaphor commonly describes centralized transport and distribution systems, notably airports? Hub and spoke. The hub and spoke model is a transportation system designed where traffic flows from spokes, smaller points, to a central hub, main point, and then to other spokes. This model is widely adopted in air travel, logistics, and shipping to enhance efficiency and reduce operational costs by centralizing operations. An ushanka is a Russian what? Hat. An ushanka is a traditional Russian fur cap with ear flaps that can be tied up to the crown or fastened at the chin. It is designed to provide protection from extreme cold and has become a widely recognized cultural symbol of Russia. Up to what degree of Neanderthal DNA is found in modern non-African people? 4%. Scientific studies indicate that modern humans of non-African descent typically carry about 1 to 4% of Neanderthal DNA. This genetic inheritance is a result of interbreeding between early modern humans and Neanderthals that occurred tens of thousands of years ago, primarily outside of Africa. What is India's smallest state by area? Goa. Goa is the smallest state in India by land area, situated on the southwestern coast of the Indian subcontinent along the Arabian Sea. It is renowned globally for its beautiful beaches, vibrant culture, and the lasting influence of Portuguese colonial heritage. Scientists reported in 2012 what litter being used by Mexico City birds to reduce parasites in their nests? Cigarette ends. In 2012, scientists observed urban birds in Mexico City incorporating cigarette butts into their nests. It is hypothesized that the nicotine and other chemicals in the cigarette ends act as a natural pesticide, deterring or killing parasites like mites and fleas and thus benefiting the nestlings. Typically related to glass or crystal, the term dichroism refers to two or more what? Colors. Dichroism is an optical phenomenon where a material exhibits different absorption coefficients for light polarized along different axes. This results in the material appearing to have different colors when viewed from different angles or with different polarizations of incident light, commonly observed in certain crystals. What is ArcelorMittal, a largely Indian-owned corporation, the world's biggest producer of steel? ArcelorMittal is a prominent global steel manufacturing company. It was formed by the merger of Arcelor and Mittal Steel in 2006, creating the world's largest steel producer. Its operations span across multiple countries, playing a significant role in the global steel industry. A censor was an officer of what civilization, responsible for public census, morality, and finances? Roman. In ancient Roman civilization, a censor was a high-ranking magistrate. Censors were primarily responsible for maintaining the census, supervising public morals, cura morum, and administering state finances and public works. This office reflected the Roman emphasis on civic duty and societal order. What country has the Internet top-level domain, SA? Saudi Arabia. The SA top-level domain, TLD, is the country code for Saudi Arabia. Each country typically has a unique two-letter country code top-level domain, CCTLD, assigned to it, which is managed by national authorities. These domains are crucial for identifying websites originating from or associated with specific countries. Tribology, the science of one surface sliding or moving against another, as in mechanical moving parts, involves what three principles or elemental aspects? Friction, lubrication, wear. Tribology is the scientific study of interacting surfaces in relative motion. It primarily focuses on the principles of friction, lubrication, and wear. Understanding tribology is crucial in engineering to design efficient mechanical systems, reduce energy loss, and extend the lifespan of components. What country experienced the world's biggest electricity power cut in July 2012? India. In July 2012, India experienced one of the largest power blackouts in history, affecting hundreds of millions of people across several northern and eastern states. This massive grid failure highlighted significant challenges in India's power infrastructure, including overloaded grids and inadequate transmission capacity, leading to widespread disruption. The 21st century's second and last solar transit across the Sun of what planet happened in 2012? Venus. A transit of Venus occurs when the planet Venus passes directly between the Sun and Earth, appearing as a small black dot moving across the face of the Sun. The transit in June 2012 was the last one of the 21st century, with the next pair of transits not occurring until 2117 and 2125. These rare astronomical events have historically been crucial for calculating the Earth-Sun distance. What organization won the 2012 Nobel Peace Prize? The European Union. The European Union was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2012 for its historical role in advancing peace and reconciliation, democracy, and human rights in Europe. The Nobel Committee recognized the EU's contributions over 6 decades to transforming Europe from a continent of war to a continent of peace. Among Time magazine's 2012 100 most influential persons in the world, Portia Lucretia Simpson Miller was elected leader for the second time of what Caribbean island? Jamaica. Portia Lucretia Simpson Miller served as the Prime Minister of Jamaica from 2006 to 2007 and again from 2012 to 2016. Her political career spans several decades, and she was a prominent figure in Caribbean politics, leading the People's National Party. She was recognized for her influence on the global stage. Princess Estelle, Duchess of Ostgotland, granddaughter to King Carl XVI Gustaf, became second in line to the throne of which nation when born in 2012? Sweden. Princess Estelle is a significant member of the Swedish royal house and second in line to the Swedish throne, a position determined by the Act of Succession. Her birth in 2012 secured the direct succession for future generations of the Swedish monarchy. Which city's Skytree, a project led by broadcaster NHK and Tobu Railway Company, opened in 2012 as the world's tallest self-supporting tower and second largest building? Tokyo. The Tokyo Skytree, opened in 2012, is a prominent broadcasting and observation tower in Tokyo, Japan. Standing at 634 meters, it is recognized as the world's tallest self-supporting tower and an iconic architectural marvel, significantly contributing to the city's skyline. Which bank was fined a record $1.9 billion by U.S. authorities for money laundering in December 2012? HSBC. In December 2012, HSBC was fined a record $1.9 billion by U.S. authorities for failing to prevent money laundering by drug cartels and state sponsors of terrorism. This landmark penalty highlighted significant regulatory failures and prompted major overhauls in anti-money laundering compliance within the global banking sector. Name the ex-construction worker who died in 2012, whose videotaped beating by Los Angeles police and their initial subsequent acquittal sparked the 1992 Los Angeles riots. Rodney King. Rodney King was an African-American man whose brutal beating by Los Angeles Police Department officers in 1991 was videotaped, sparking national outrage. The officer's acquittal in 1992 ignited the devastating Los Angeles riots, a pivotal event in American civil rights history that underscored issues of police brutality and racial injustice. In 2012, The Orphan of Chow became the first play of which country to be produced by the Royal Shakespeare Company? China. The Orphan of Chao is a classic Chinese play that made history in 2012 by becoming the first play from China to be produced by the prestigious Royal Shakespeare Company, RSC, in the UK. This production marked a significant milestone in international cultural exchange, introducing a seminal work of Chinese dramatic literature to a wider Western audience. Name the French president who began his term in 2012. François Hollande. François Hollande was elected President of France in 2012, serving one term until 2017. As a Socialist Party candidate, his victory marked a significant shift in French politics, leading the country through a period of economic challenges and increased security threats. Who in 2012 made the first submarine solo dive to the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the lowest point of the oceans, subsequently releasing a 3D film of the dive? James Cameron. James Cameron's 2012 solo dive to the Mariana Trench in the Deep-Sea Challenger submersible marked a significant feat in deep-sea exploration. This expedition gathered crucial scientific data and imagery from the deepest known point on Earth, the Challenger Deep. 2012 marked the 50th anniversary of which short, exclusively land-based war between two vast nations? Sino-Indian War. The Sino-Indian War, a brief but intense border conflict, occurred in 1962 between China and India over disputed Himalayan territories. The 2012 reference highlights its 50th anniversary, underscoring its enduring historical and geopolitical significance in Asia. What is the nationality of Carlos Slim, who was named the richest person in the world by Forbes in 2012? Mexican. Carlos Slim Helu is a prominent Mexican business magnate, investor, and philanthropist. He held the title of the world's wealthiest person for several years, including 2012, primarily due to his extensive holdings in telecommunications, retail, and construction. Robindro Shankar Chaudhary, the world-famous performance artist who died in 2012, is better known by what name? Ravi Shankar. Ravi Shankar, born Robindro Shankar Chaudhary, was a legendary Indian sitar maestro and composer, renowned for popularizing Indian classical music globally. He was a recipient of India's highest civilian honor, the Bharat Ratna, and significantly influenced Western musicians. Name the NASA Mars Science Laboratory rover which landed on Mars in 2012. Curiosity. The Curiosity rover is a car-sized robot designed to explore Mars Gale crater as part of NASA's Mars Science Laboratory mission. It successfully landed on Mars on August 6, 2012, and has since been investigating the planet's geology, climate, and potential for past microbial life. Justin Welby was appointed to what famous old position in 2012? Archbishop of Canterbury. Justin Welby was enthroned as the 105th Archbishop of Canterbury in 2013, having been appointed in 2012. This position is the primary leader of the Church of England and the symbolic head of the worldwide Anglican Communion. 2012 was the 300th anniversary of the world's first industrial steam-powered machine, which was a water pump. The world's first practical steam-powered machine was the Newcomen atmospheric engine, invented in 1712 by Thomas Newcomen. It was primarily used as a water pump to drain water from coal mines, significantly impacting the early industrial revolution by enabling deeper mining. In 2012, fossils of 1.9 meters years old Homo rudolfensis were discovered in Kenya. In 2012, new fossils attributed to Homo rudolfensis, dating back approximately 1.9 million years, were discovered in Kubi Fora, Kenya. These discoveries provided crucial insights into the diversity of early human ancestors in East Africa and the complex branching patterns of human evolution. Who famously accused Tony Abbott of sexism and misogyny in 2012? Julia Gillard. Julia Gillard, then Prime Minister of Australia, delivered a highly publicised, misogyny speech in Parliament in October 2012, accusing the then opposition leader Tony Abbott of sexism and misogyny. The speech gained international attention for its powerful critique of gender-based political attacks. Which nation defied international warnings when launching a rocket in December 2012? North Korea. North Korea defied international warnings and launched a long-range rocket in December 2012, which it claimed was a satellite launch. The international community, including the United Nations Security Council, widely condemned the action as a disguised ballistic missile test, violating UN resolutions. What was the academic qualification level of Sir Patrick Moore, a renowned astronomer who passed away in 2012? Amateur. Sir Patrick Moore was a celebrated British astronomer, science writer, and television presenter, famous for his long-running BBC programme, The Sky at Night. Despite being self-taught and holding no formal academic qualifications in astronomy, his contributions to popularizing the field were immense and widely recognized. In 2012, in which nation's London embassy did WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange seek diplomatic asylum? Ecuador. Julian Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, sought asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy in London in 2012 to avoid extradition to Sweden over sexual assault allegations, fearing subsequent extradition to the United States. His stay in the embassy lasted nearly 7 years, becoming a major international diplomatic incident. Who was the renowned astronaut, famous for being the first person to walk on the moon, who passed away in 2012? Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong was an American astronaut and the first person to walk on the moon on July 20, 1969, during the Apollo 11 mission. His historic words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," remain iconic in human history. Who became the first black person to be featured on South African banknotes in 2012? Nelson Mandela. In 2012, Nelson Mandela's image was introduced on all denominations of South African banknotes, making him the first black person to be featured. This honor recognized his immense contributions as an anti-apartheid revolutionary, political leader, and former president of South Africa. What was the name of the devastating hurricane that impacted the mid-Atlantic and northeastern United States in October 2012? Hurricane Sandy. Hurricane Sandy, often referred to as Superstorm Sandy, was a powerful and destructive hurricane that caused widespread damage across the Caribbean and the eastern seaboard of the United States in October 2012. It was one of the costliest hurricanes in U.S. history, leading to significant power outages and flooding. Who was nominated as the Republican Party candidate for Vice President of the United States in January 2012? Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan was chosen as the running mate for Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney in the 2012 U.S. presidential election. Ryan, then a congressman from Wisconsin, served as the 54th Speaker of the House of Representatives from 2015 to 2019. Which renowned Irish author, who passed away in 2012, wrote popular novels such as Light a Penny Candle and Circle of Friends? Maeve Binchy. Maeve Binchy was an acclaimed Irish novelist, playwright, and short story writer. Her works, often set in Ireland, explored the lives of ordinary people with warmth and humor, making her one of Ireland's most beloved authors. Her death in 2012 marked the loss of a significant literary figure. What was the nationality of Felix Baumgartner, who in 2012 achieved a record-breaking skydive from the stratosphere, becoming the first human to break the sound barrier in freefall? Austrian. Felix Baumgartner is an Austrian skydiver and daredevil who, in 2012, completed the Red Bull Stratos project. He ascended to an altitude of 38,969.4 meters, 127,852 feet, in a helium balloon and then performed a free fall jump, reaching a maximum speed of 1,357.6 kilometers per hour, 843.6 miles per hour, Mach 1.25, making him the first human to break the sound barrier outside the vehicle. The year 2012 marked the 100th anniversary of the introduction of which unique disciplines into the Summer Olympic Games. Art competitions, including architecture, literature, music, painting, and sculpture. From 1912 to 1948, the Olympic Games included art competitions where artists competed for medals in categories like architecture, literature, music, painting, and sculpture, with their works required to be inspired by sport. This unique tradition was envisioned by Pierre de Coubertin, founder of the modern Olympics, to combine sport with culture. Which Eastern European nation saw protests against Prime Minister Viktor Orban in January 2012? Hungary. Hungary experienced significant protests against Prime Minister Viktor Orban's government in early 2012, primarily concerning his reform agenda and perceived authoritarian tendencies. These demonstrations highlighted growing domestic discontent with the ruling Fidesz party's policies and constitutional changes. A pastel version of what artwork sold at a New York auction for a record $120 million? The Scream. Edward Muncher's pastel version of The Scream fetched nearly $120 million at Sotheby's in New York in 2012, setting a record for an artwork sold at auction at that time. The Scream is one of the most iconic works of expressionist art, depicting a figure in anguish against a dramatic, blood-red sky. Chile experienced large and violent protests by whom in 2012, invoking comparisons with similar 2006 action called, after the protesters' uniforms, the Penguins' Revolution or the March of the Penguins? Students. In 2012, Chile saw widespread and often violent student protests demanding significant reforms to the education system, advocating for free and quality public education. These protests drew parallels to the Penguins' Revolution of 2006, where high school students, identifiable by their uniforms, also demonstrated for educational reform. The British warship HMS Dauntless was controversially deployed where in January 2012? The Falklands, Islas Malvinas. The deployment of the British warship HMS Dauntless to the Falkland Islands, Islas Malvinas, in January 2012 sparked diplomatic controversy and heightened tensions between the United Kingdom and Argentina. The deployment coincided with the 30th anniversary of the Falklands War and was perceived by Argentina as an act of militarization in the disputed territory. The lease for which famous state building was sold in 2012 for a luxury hotel development? Admiralty Arch, London. In 2012, the lease for Admiralty Arch, a prominent Grade 1 listed building in London, was sold by the UK government for conversion into a luxury hotel. Located at the eastern end of the mall, it is a historically significant landmark that serves as a ceremonial gateway between Trafalgar Square and Buckingham Palace. The effective discovery of what particle was announced by CERN at the Large Hadron Collider in 2012? Higgs boson. In 2012, scientists at CERN's Large Hadron Collider announced the effective discovery of the Higgs boson, a fundamental particle crucial to the Standard Model of particle physics. Often dubbed the God particle, it is responsible for giving mass to other elementary particles. Which famous personality from computing tweeted, "This is for everyone," in the 2012 Olympics opening ceremony? Tim Berners-Lee. Sir Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web, participated in the opening ceremony of the 2012 London Olympics, where he famously tweeted, "This is for everyone." His presence highlighted the transformative impact of the Internet, a technology he developed to foster open access and global connectivity. Who wrote the 2012 Man Booker Prize-winning novel Bring Up the Bodies? Hilary Mantel. Hilary Mantel's Bring Up the Bodies won the Man Booker Prize in 2012, making her the first British writer and the first woman to win the award twice, following her 2009 win for Wolf Hall. The novel is the second in her critically acclaimed historical fiction trilogy about Thomas Cromwell. In 2012, Prince Naif became the second crown prince, after Prince Sultan, to die before ascending to the throne in which country? Saudi Arabia. Prince Naif bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, passed away in 2012. His death, following that of Prince Sultan, highlighted significant succession challenges within the Saudi royal family and led to further shifts in the line of succession. Xi Jinping achieved the top-ranked position in China in 2012 in what field? Political leadership. Xi Jinping assumed the position of General Secretary of the Communist Party of China in November 2012, marking his ascent to the highest political leadership in the country. This event was pivotal, ushering in a new era of Chinese domestic and foreign policy under his extensive authority. Enrique Pena Nieto became president of which country in 2012? Mexico. Enrique Pena Nieto was inaugurated as the President of Mexico in December 2012, representing the Institutional Revolutionary Party, PRI. His presidency focused on economic reforms and efforts to combat organized crime, signifying the PRI's return to power after 12 years. 2012 is the 200th anniversary of the status of which European capital city, which was moved from Turku by Tsar Alexander I of Russia? Helsinki. In 1812, Tsar Alexander I of Russia officially designated Helsinki as the new capital of the Grand Duchy of Finland, relocating it from Turku. This strategic move aimed to consolidate Russian influence and bring the capital closer to St. Petersburg, thereby transforming Helsinki into a prominent administrative and cultural hub. Who wrote the 200-year-old letter auctioned for €150,000 in 2012, expressing a wish to destroy the Kremlin? Napoleon Bonaparte. In a letter dated October 1812, during his army's retreat from Moscow, Napoleon Bonaparte expressed his frustration and ordered the destruction of the Kremlin. This document provides insight into the immense pressures and strategic failures faced by Napoleon during the disastrous French invasion of Russia. Who is considered the father of computing and inventor of the eponymous seminal computer machine, whose 100th birthday would have been the 23rd of June 2012? Alan Turing. Alan Turing was a pioneering British mathematician and computer scientist. He is widely regarded as the father of theoretical computer science and artificial intelligence, and played a crucial role in cracking the Enigma code during World War II. His contributions laid the foundational concepts for modern computing. What Internet computing term derives from Old Norse, haleka, related to Old German, gelenk, meaning joint? Link. The term link in computing refers to a connection, often a hyperlink that allows navigation between different web pages or documents. Its etymological root in Old Norse and Old German relates to the concept of a joint or connection, reflecting its function in establishing interconnectedness in digital environments. What medical Latin term literally means stiffness of death? Rigor mortis. Rigor mortis is a postmortem change resulting in the stiffening of muscle tissues and joints several hours after death. This occurs due to chemical changes in the muscles, specifically the depletion of ATP, which prevents the relaxation of muscle fibers. It is one of the recognizable signs of death. The famous Castilian military leader Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar, 1043-99, is better known by what name? LCID. Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar, famously known as El Cid Campida, was a Castilian nobleman and military leader in medieval Spain. He became a national hero and an epic figure in Spanish history, renowned for his military prowess and chivalry during the Reconquista, a period when Christian kingdoms reclaimed territories from Moorish rule. In 2012, Shinzo Abe became which nation's 8th prime ministerial appointment in 6 years, from 2006 to 12? Japan. Shinzo Abe served 2 terms as the Prime Minister of Japan, from 2006-2007 and again from 2012 to 2020, becoming Japan's longest-serving Prime Minister. His initial return to power in 2012 marked a period of relative political stability after a series of short-lived administrations in Japan, leading to the implementation of his economic policies known as Abenomics. What technical measurement term, used by road builders, refers to PSV? Polished stone value. PSV, polished stone value, measures the resistance of road surface aggregates to the polishing action of vehicle tires. This is crucial for road safety, as it ensures that the road surface maintains adequate skid resistance over time, particularly in wet conditions. What property of a fluid, having extremes of thick and thin, measures its internal friction or resistance under stress? Viscosity. Viscosity is a fundamental physical property of fluids that quantifies their resistance to flow. It represents the internal friction between adjacent layers of fluid moving at different velocities, determining how easily a fluid can be poured or moved. Name the famous guitarist whose collaboration with the Gibson Company led to their first and eponymous solid-body electric guitar in 1952. Les Paul. Les Paul was an influential American jazz, country, and blues guitarist, songwriter, and inventor. His innovative collaboration with the Gibson Guitar Corporation resulted in the iconic Gibson Les Paul electric guitar, which profoundly shaped the sound of modern music. What form of rejection is shared by prominent figures such as L.S. Lowry, John Lennon, Philip Larkin, Benjamin Zephaniah, and Danny Boyle? Chivalric Order. Several distinguished British individuals, including the aforementioned figures, have famously declined honours from a chivalric order, such as a knighthood or an MBE. Reasons for refusal often range from political stances, personal philosophical objections to the concept of monarchy, or a belief that such awards are elitist. Visceral refers to a human response of what sort? Internal. The term, visceral, refers to something relating to the internal organs of the body, particularly the abdomen. In the context of human responses, it describes deep, instinctive, and often emotional reactions that are felt strongly and intuitively, rather than being intellectual or reasoned. Name Facebook's photo app company that controversially announced it would begin commercially exploiting users' photos and content on a no-fee, no-permission basis, effective from January 16, 2013. Instagram. Instagram faced significant public backlash and controversy in 2012 when it proposed changes to its terms of service. The planned update suggested the company could use users' uploaded photos for commercial purposes without compensation or explicit consent, leading to widespread user outcry and a subsequent reversal of some policy aspects. Cosmetology refers to the study or profession in what field? Beauty, hair. Cosmetology is the professional discipline and study of various beauty treatments. This field encompasses a broad range of services including hairdressing, skincare, manicures, pedicures, and makeup artistry, typically requiring specialized training and licensing for practice. What is Mexico's largest state, which also lends its name to a famously small dog breed? Chihuahua. Chihuahua is the largest state in Mexico by land area, located in the northern part of the country. The popular dog breed, known for its tiny stature, is also called Chihuahua, as it is believed to have originated in this Mexican state. Optics is a branch of physics specifically concerning what phenomenon? Light. Optics is the branch of physics dedicated to the study of light, including its behavior and properties, its interactions with matter, and the design and construction of instruments that either detect or utilize light. It encompasses a wide array of phenomena such as reflection, refraction, diffraction, and interference. What expression, referring to admitting a mistake with humility and shame, derives from an Old English peasant dish made with the offal of a deer? Eat humble pie. The idiom, eat humble pie, signifies the act of admitting one's error and enduring humiliation. Its origin is linked to umbles, from which humble is derived, the edible offal of a deer, which was historically used to make pies and often served to lower-class individuals, thus symbolizing a position of subservience or humility. What does the globally widely used Wechsler scale assess in children? Intelligence. The Wechsler scales are a suite of standardized tests, such as the WISC for children, designed to assess cognitive ability and intellectual functioning across different age groups. These scales are critical tools in clinical and educational psychology for diagnosing learning disabilities and cognitive strengths. Hyperemesis gravidarum is an extreme form of what commonly named medical condition? Morning sickness. Hyperemesis gravidarum is a severe and persistent form of nausea and vomiting during pregnancy, significantly more intense than typical morning sickness. It can lead to dehydration, malnutrition, and weight loss, often requiring medical intervention and hospitalization. Thrix, murmillo, and hoplomachus are types of Roman gladiators. Thrix, murmillo, and hoplomachus were distinct classes of gladiators in ancient Rome, each equipped with specific armor, weaponry, and fighting styles. These specialized roles created diverse and engaging spectacles in the gladiatorial games, reflecting Roman martial culture. What surname appeared most in the UK Leveson inquiry report about media, press privacy and phone hacking? Murdoch. The Leveson inquiry was a major judicial public inquiry in the UK established in 2011 to investigate the ethics and practices of the British press following the News International phone hacking scandal. The Murdoch family, prominent media moguls, were central figures due to their extensive media ownership and involvement in the events under investigation. What word for the end of the world originally referred to a revelation? Apocalypse. The word apocalypse originates from the Greek apokalypsis, meaning unveiling or revelation. While commonly associated with the catastrophic end of the world, its original meaning refers to the disclosure of profound secrets or divine insights, often through prophetic visions. Rheology is the science or study of substance flow. Rheology is the branch of physics that studies the deformation and flow of matter, particularly in liquid, semi-solid, and soft-solid states. It is crucial for understanding the behavior of materials in various industries, including food processing, plastics manufacturing, and cosmetics. Derived from Greek for gadfly or frenzy, what word refers to the recurring period of sexual receptivity in female mammals? Estrus. Estrus, commonly known as heat, is the cyclical period when female mammals are sexually receptive and fertile, indicating their readiness to mate. The term's Greek origin reflects the agitated or frenzied behavior often exhibited by females during this reproductive phase. A440 refers to the international standard, ISO 16, for what? Musical tuning pitch. A440 is the standard concert pitch for the note A above middle C, corresponding to a frequency of 440 Hz, Hz. Adopted as an international standard, ISO 16, in 1955, it ensures consistency in musical tuning across instruments and ensembles globally. What modern term, alluding to a display place, refers to the consumer buying tactic of assessing products in retail stores, but then buying them online at a lower price. Showrooming. Showrooming is a consumer behavior where individuals visit brick-and-mortar stores to physically inspect products, then purchase them online, often from a competitor, to secure a lower price. This trend significantly challenges traditional retail business models by leveraging price transparency offered by e-commerce. Motion Pictures Experts Group Format I, or 2, Audio Layer 3, is better known as what 3 characters? MP3. MP3, an acronym for MPEG-1 Audio Layer 3, or MPEG-2 Audio Layer 3, is a patented encoding format for digital audio. It uses lossy data compression to significantly reduce the size of audio files while maintaining a quality level largely indistinguishable to the human ear, revolutionizing digital music distribution. William the Conqueror, William I of England, 1027–87, reigned 1066–87, was also known unflatteringly as William the what? Bastard. William the Conqueror, Duke of Normandy and later King of England, was known by the epithet, William the Bastard, due to his illegitimate birth. He was the son of Robert I, Duke of Normandy, and Herlwa, a tanner's daughter, but he nonetheless successfully asserted his claim to the English throne through the Norman conquest of 1066. Wayne Lapierre is known for his 20-plus years controversial leadership of what organization? NRA, National Rifle Association. Wayne Lapierre served as the Executive Vice President and CEO of the National Rifle Association, NRA, for over 3 decades, making him a prominent and often controversial figure in American gun politics. Under his leadership, the NRA became a powerful lobbying group advocating for gun rights, significantly influencing legislation and public debate on firearm ownership. Typically used in law, the Latin term, ipso facto, means by the fact itself. Ipso facto is a Latin legal term meaning, by the fact itself, or, by the very nature of the deed. It describes a consequence that follows automatically from a specific action or fact, without requiring any additional action or proof. For example, an illegal contract might be considered null and void ipso facto. What geological term was used to describe the US governmental budget crisis at the end of 2012? Cliff. The fiscal cliff referred to a combination of expiring tax cuts and automatic spending cuts scheduled to take effect at the end of 2012 in the United States. This situation raised concerns about potential negative impacts on the US economy if not addressed by Congress. Which historically semi-military people, recognized by Russia in 2010 as an ethnicity, are named after the old Cuman, Turkic word meaning free man? Cossacks. Cossacks are a group of predominantly East Slavic-speaking people who became known as members of democratic, semi-military communities, originating in the steppes of Eastern Europe. They played a significant role in the historical and cultural development of both Ukraine and Russia, and their name is derived from a Turkic word meaning free man or adventurer. Antipasto, plural antipasti, refers to which part of an Italian lunch or dinner? Before the meal. Antipasto, literally meaning before the meal, is the traditional first course of a formal Italian meal. It typically includes cured meats, olives, various cheeses, pickled vegetables, and marinated seafood, served to stimulate the appetite before the main dishes. The term, ex libris, is traditionally found on a label or plate indicating the ownership of what? Book. Ex libris is a Latin phrase meaning, from the library of. These decorative labels or book plates are typically pasted inside the front cover of a book, serving as an artistic and personalized mark of ownership for the individual or institution. What famous phrase, whose Latin original as quisque faber suae fortunae, was coined by the Roman official Appius Claudius, the Blind, Caecus, c.340 to 273 BC, who was responsible for the Via Appia, considered the first modern road? Every man is the architect of his own fortune. Appius Claudius Caecus was a significant Roman statesman and engineer known for initiating the construction of the Via Appia, one of the earliest and most important Roman roads, and the Aqua Appia, Rome's first aqueduct. He is also credited with coining the influential Latin proverb, quisque faber suae fortunae, meaning, every man is the architect of his own fortune, emphasizing individual responsibility and self-determination. Mariachi is a traditional style of Mexican street music. What type of art form is it? Music. Mariachi is a fundamental and internationally recognized genre of traditional Mexican music. Originating in Jalisco, Mexico, it is characterized by string instruments like violins, trumpets, guitars, and a distinct vocal style, often performed by ensembles wearing charro suits. In the field of linguistics, the term ellipsis refers to the omission or missing of what? Words. Ellipsis is a linguistic phenomenon where words are intentionally or unintentionally omitted from a sentence or phrase, yet the meaning remains clear from the context. It is commonly used in both spoken and written communication to avoid redundancy and streamline expression. The Sargasso Sea derives its name from what specific marine organism? Seaweed. The Sargasso Sea is a region of the Atlantic Ocean, notable for being the only sea without land boundaries. It is named after the genus Sargassum, a free-floating seaweed that accumulates in large mats on its surface, providing a unique habitat for various marine species. Il Duce, a figure who has seen some revivalist support in Italy in the 2000s, is historically known by what name? Benito Mussolini. Benito Mussolini was an Italian politician and journalist who founded and led the National Fascist Party. He was the Prime Minister of Italy from 1922 to 1943, and is widely known by his title, Il Duce, meaning, the leader, symbolizing his authoritarian rule. What term, frequently encountered in medical research and treatment, which can sometimes be controversial, is derived from the Latin phrase, I shall be pleasing? Placebo. A placebo is a substance or treatment with no active therapeutic effect, given to a patient to see if their condition improves due to their belief in the treatment. It is extensively used in clinical trials to distinguish the true effects of a drug from psychological responses or natural remission. The Metis constitute a significant Aboriginal group primarily associated with which nation? Canada. The Metis are one of the recognized indigenous peoples in Canada, with a distinct culture, language, motif, and history. They are descendants of indigenous women and European settlers, primarily French fur traders, and played a crucial role in Canadian history, particularly in the Red River settlement. What seabird is named from the Norse, stinking gull, because of its defensive vomiting when disturbed? Fulmar. Fulmars are a genus of seabirds belonging to the family Procellariidae, found primarily in the North Atlantic and North Pacific. They are known for their unique defense mechanism of ejecting a foul-smelling, oily stomach fluid onto predators or threats, which also explains the origin of their name from Old Norse, fulmar, meaning foul gull. In the study of arthropods, what are the 3 petaseconds, considered natural controls or suppressors of insect plagues? Pathogens, predators, parasitoids. The 3 petaseconds are key components of biological control strategies used in pest management to naturally regulate insect populations. Pathogens are disease-causing microorganisms, predators are organisms that consume pests, and parasitoids are insects that lay their eggs in or on a host, eventually killing it. These natural enemies are crucial for maintaining ecological balance and reducing reliance on chemical pesticide. Glock pistols are manufactured in which country? Austria. Glock pistols are a globally recognized series of polymer-framed, semi-automatic pistols. They are designed and produced by Glock GmbH, an armaments manufacturer based in Deutsche Wagram, Austria. Endoscopic retrograde cholangiopancreatography, ERCP, is a procedure used in what field? Medicine. Endoscopic retrograde cholangiopancreatography, ERCP, is a specialized medical procedure in gastroenterology used to diagnose and treat conditions of the bile ducts, pancreatic duct, and gallbladder. It combines the use of an endoscope with fluoroscopy, X-ray imaging, to visualize and intervene in these ducts. The term, chamois, referring to soft leather, is named after, and was originally made from what type of creature? Mountain goat, antelope. Chamois leather is a type of soft, absorbent leather traditionally derived from the skin of the chamois, a species of goat antelope native to European mountains. Today, it can also be made from the hides of other animals like sheep or goats, but its original name and qualities are linked to the mountain-dwelling chamois. The historic San Francisco cable car system, which comprised 3 branch lines in 2012, utilizes how many actual cables in total? 4. The San Francisco cable car system is a National Historic Landmark and the last manually operated cable car system in the world. It currently operates 3 distinct lines, each powered by a separate underground moving cable. What modern digital display term is an abbreviated portmanteau word derived from picture and element? Pixel. A pixel is the smallest controllable element of a picture represented on a screen. It is a portmanteau of picture and element, and forms the fundamental building block of all digital images and displays. Extraversion, introversion, conscientiousness, agreeableness, neuroticism, and openness to experience are the Big Five dimensions of what popular acronymically named personality analysis theory? Ocean. The Big Five personality traits, often summarized by the acronym OCEAN, are a widely accepted model for understanding human personality. These 5 broad domains describe an individual's psychological makeup and predict various life outcomes. What model number Boeing plane is known as the Dreamliner, a name it received in 2005? 787. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner is a long-haul, mid-size wide-body, twin-engine jet airliner. It is notable for its fuel efficiency and the extensive use of composite materials in its airframe. Frétabli was the leading newspaper in the early 2000s for which island nation? Iceland. Frétabli was a prominent free newspaper in Iceland, known for its widespread distribution and influence on public discourse. Its status as a leading publication reflects the media landscape of the island nation during the early 2000s. Name the Utah, USA, salt flats famous for land speed records and which also lend their name to a Triumph motorbike model. Bonneville. The Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah, USA, are a densely packed salt pan formed by the evaporation of ancient Lake Bonneville. This unique geological feature is renowned globally as a venue for high-speed automobile and motorcycle land speed record attempts. Name the notable 20th-century U.S. poet and short story author who penned the stirring epigrammatic poem, Late Fragment. Raymond Carver. Raymond Carver was an influential American short story writer and poet of the late 20th century. His minimalist style and poignant depiction of working-class life earned him critical acclaim, with Late Fragment being one of his most celebrated and enduring poems. Daniel Hooper, a famous British protester, is better known by what nickname, earned during his literally underground resistance to the Newbury bypass in 1996? Swampy. Daniel Hooper, widely known as Swampy, is a British environmental activist famous for his underground protest tactics. He gained national recognition for his role in the 1996 Newbury bypass protest, where activists lived in tunnels to obstruct construction. Operation Serval refers to France's military intervention in which former colonies' civil war? Mali. Operation Serval was a French military operation launched in January 2013 to combat Islamist insurgents in Mali. The intervention aimed to restore Mali's territorial integrity and stabilize the country, which was facing a significant security crisis. What volume of water can an adult oyster filter per day? 50 gallons. Adult oysters are prodigious filter feeders, capable of filtering significant volumes of water daily, typically around 50 gallons. This biological function is crucial for maintaining water quality in their marine ecosystems by removing suspended particles, algae, and pollutants. What primary ingredient, besides sugar, milk solids, and salt, constitutes white chocolate? Cocoa butter. White chocolate primarily consists of cocoa butter, which is the fat extracted from the cocoa bean, combined with sugar, milk solids, and often vanilla. Unlike dark chocolate, it does not contain cocoa solids, which are responsible for the characteristic dark color and bitter flavor. Identify the two-dimensional form of carbon, only one atom thick, which was recognized in the early 2000s for being the strongest material ever discovered. Graphene. Graphene is an allotrope of carbon consisting of a single layer of carbon atoms arranged in a two-dimensional hexagonal lattice. Discovered in 2004, it is renowned for its exceptional strength, electrical conductivity, and thermal properties, making it a pivotal material in advanced technological applications. What is the contemporary name for the former colonial territory known as French Sudan? Mali. French Sudan was a colonial territory in French West Africa that gained independence in 1960. It was briefly part of the Mali Federation before becoming the Independent Republic of Mali. The name change reflects its post-colonial identity and sovereignty. In 1980, Beatrix ascended to the throne as queen of which European nation? The Netherlands. Queen Beatrix reigned as the monarch of the Netherlands from 1980 until her abdication in 2013 in favor of her eldest son, Willem-Alexander. Her reign saw significant social and political changes in the Netherlands and Europe. Until 2011, the 1923 Great Kanto earthquake was the largest earthquake experienced by which nation? Japan. The Great Kanto earthquake struck Japan in 1923, devastating Tokyo and Yokohama and causing immense loss of life and property. Until the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, it stood as Japan's deadliest natural disaster, profoundly influencing the nation's urban planning and disaster preparedness strategies. What term is commonly used for torpedo-shaped cars and motorcycles designed for land speed records, as well as for bullet trains? Streamliner. A streamliner refers to a vehicle or object designed to offer minimum resistance to air or water, optimizing its aerodynamic efficiency. This design principle is crucial for achieving high speeds, as seen in land speed record vehicles and bullet trains, by significantly reducing drag. The Mohorovicic discontinuity, commonly known as the Moho, represents a boundary between which Earth layers? Earth's crust and mantle. The Mohorovicic discontinuity, MOHO, is the boundary separating the Earth's crust from the underlying mantle. Discovered by Andrea Mohorovicic in 1909, its depth varies globally, being deeper under continents than under oceans. It is identified by a sudden increase in seismic wave velocities. whose statue, commemorating his role as a pioneering travel agent, stands outside Leicester UK railway station, marking the starting point of his first organised tour? Thomas Cook. Thomas Cook was a British businessman renowned for pioneering the modern package tour. He organised his first excursion in 1841 from Leicester, leading to the establishment of Thomas Cook and Son, a global travel agency. His contributions revolutionized leisure travel for the masses. What human feature was suggested by academics to have evolved due to its benefits for prehistoric human life in aquatic environments? Wrinkly fingers and toes. Research suggests that wrinkly fingers and toes, caused by vasoconstriction in response to water immersion, are not simply a passive swelling. This physiological response is hypothesized to have evolved to improve grip on wet objects or surfaces, providing an evolutionary advantage for early humans foraging or navigating in watery environments. Which globally influential organization was reported in 2013 to possess property investments exceeding £500 million, originating from recognition payments received in 1929 from Benito Mussolini? The Vatican. The Vatican, the Holy See, received significant financial compensation and territorial recognition from the Kingdom of Italy under the 1929 Lateran Treaty, negotiated with Benito Mussolini. These funds, part of a settlement for the loss of the Papal States, were subsequently invested and managed, contributing to the Vatican's substantial financial assets and property holdings. In medicine, what does a macule refer to? A flat, duscolored spot on the skin. A macule is defined in dermatology as a flat, non-palpable lesion on the skin that is less than 1 cm in diameter, characterized by a change in skin color. Unlike papules or nodules, macules do not involve elevation or depression of the skin surface, representing only a discoloration. Which 4 large feline species are commonly referred to as the big cats and are the only ones capable of roaring? Lion, tiger, leopard, and jaguar. The term, big cats, traditionally refers to 4 species within the genus Panthera, the lion, tiger, leopard, and jaguar. These species are distinct from other large felids due to their ability to roar, a characteristic enabled by a specialized larynx and echioid bone structure. Which fish species became a subject of significant EU fishing quota disputes in 2013 due to its altered migratory patterns leading to increased presence in Icelandic waters? Mackerel. In 2013, mackerel became central to fishing quota disputes between the EU, Iceland, and the Faroe Islands. Changes in mackerel migration patterns, attributed partly to climate change, led to a substantial increase in their presence in Icelandic and Faroese waters, prompting disagreements over sustainable catch limits and access rights. What ingredient causes a can of cola to sink in water, whereas a can of Diet Cola floats? Sugar. The presence of a significant amount of sugar in regular cola increases its density, making it heavier than water, hence it sinks. Diet Cola, using artificial sweeteners which are potent in much smaller quantities, has a lower overall density due to less dissolved solids, allowing it to float. This demonstrates principles of density and buoyancy. Prior to its popularization by Jurassic Park, to what specific type of carnivorous creature did the term raptor technically refer? Bird. The term raptor is derived from the Latin word raper, meaning to seize or to snatch. Technically, it refers to birds of prey, such as eagles, hawks, and falcons, known for their sharp talons and predatory hunting style. While Velociraptor is a dinosaur, the word raptor itself has a broader, older zoological application primarily for birds. The Latin term per capita means which of the following: for the entire population, each person, paying customers, or registered voters. Each person. per capita, is a Latin phrase meaning, for each head, or, by head, commonly translated as, per person. It is widely used in economics, statistics, and demography to express averages or ratios relative to individual members of a population, such as GDP per capita or consumption per capita. In Brazil, pandeiro is a popular example of which type of musical instrument? Percussion. The pandeiro is a type of hand-framed drum, similar to a tambourine, and is a popular percussion instrument in Brazil. It is central to various Brazilian music forms, including samba and choro, providing rhythmic complexity with its tunable head and jingles. The Republic of Upper Volta was renamed what, 2 words, in 1984, with its new name meaning respectively, men of integrity, and, fatherland, in its 2 native languages? Burkina Faso. The Republic of Upper Volta, a West African nation, was renamed Burkina Faso in 1984 by its then president Thomas Sankara. The new name combines words from 2 major indigenous languages, Burkina, from Mua, meaning, men of integrity, and Faso, from Diola, meaning, fatherland, reflecting a strong sense of national identity and pride. Who was the youngest Nobel Literature Prize winner in 1907, and later declined both a knighthood and the UK Poet Laureateship? Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling, the celebrated British author, received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1907 at the age of 41, making him the youngest recipient of the award in that category. Known for works like The Jungle Book and Kim, he notably declined a knighthood and the Poet Laureateship of the United Kingdom, preferring to remain an independent writer. Name the UK seaside town famous for jetstone, and whose St. Mary's Church featured prominently in Bram Stoker's Dracula. Whitby. Whitby is a historic seaside town in North Yorkshire, England, renowned for its distinctive black gemstone, Whitby jet. The town also holds significant literary fame as a key setting in Bram Stoker's Gothic novel, Dracula, where the titular vampire first arrives in England via a shipwreck near its iconic abbey and St. Mary's Church. Where in the human body is the glottis located? Larynx. The glottis is the part of the larynx consisting of the vocal folds, vocal cords, and the space between them. It is crucial for voice production and plays a significant role in controlling airflow during breathing. In physics, what are the elementary exchange particles, gauge bosons, between quarks called? Gluons. Gluons are elementary particles that mediate the strong nuclear force, binding quarks together to form hadrons like protons and neutrons. They are described by quantum chromodynamics, QCD, as the carriers of the strong interaction. The 6 soft alkali metals, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and francium, react with water to produce what gas? Hydrogen. Alkali metals are highly reactive and vigorously react with water to produce hydrogen gas and a corresponding metal hydroxide. This reaction is exothermic and becomes more intense down the group, with cesium and francium reacting explosively. In the context of actions, activities, or projects, what does the word hiatus mean? Pause. A hiatus refers to a temporary break or interruption in a sequence, activity, or project. It signifies a period of time when something is suspended before it potentially resumes. The Shoemaker-Levy 9 comet broke up and impacted which celestial body in 1994, attracting significant astronomical and media interest? Jupiter. Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 was a comet that fragmented and collided with Jupiter in July 1994, marking the first direct observation of a planetary collision. This event provided valuable data on Jovian atmospheric dynamics and impact phenomena. Which is the only big cat found wild in the Americas that possesses the ability to roar? Jaguar. The jaguar, Panthera onca, is the largest native cat species of the Americas and is unique among American felids for its roaring capability. It is an apex predator, playing a vital role in maintaining the balance of its ecosystem. What kind of work does peripatetic refer to? Travel. The term peripatetic describes work or a lifestyle that involves frequent traveling from place to place. It often implies an itinerant or nomadic professional role. What does the word nexus refer to? Connection. A nexus denotes a central and important connection or link between a number of things. It often implies a crucial point of connection or a series of interlinked elements within a system or network. What does a phylogynist like? Women. A phylogynist is an individual who likes, loves, or admires women. The term is derived from Greek, combining philo, loving, and gyne, woman. From which specific area in South Mumbai, India, was the name of the workwear, dungarees, derived? Dongri. Dungarees, a type of durable workwear, get their name from Dongri, a village near Mumbai, formerly Bombay, India. The coarse cotton fabric originally used for these garments was historically manufactured in this region. Which pottery pioneer produced creamware and jasperware in the mid-late 1700s? Hosier Wedgwood. Hosier Wedgwood was an English potter who founded the Wedgwood Company in 1759. He is renowned for his innovative production of ceramic wares like creamware, refined earthenware, and the distinctive jasperware, which featured unglazed matte bisque porcelain with classical relief designs. His work significantly influenced European ceramics and industrial production. The Roman settlement of Arausio in Say, France later became what significantly named town and subsequent principality, emblem in Dutch, English, Southern African and Irish history? Orange. The Roman settlement of Arausio is now the city of Orange in France. It became the capital of the Principality of Orange, which gained historical significance through the House of Orange-Nassau, a prominent European noble house. This lineage is crucial in Dutch history, William of Orange, English history, Glorious Revolution, and its emblem, name has connections to South Africa, Orange Free State, and Northern Ireland, Orange Order. Pithy refers to communications, notably spoken words, which are concise and impactful. Pithy describes language that is both concise and full of meaning or substance. It implies that the communication is brief yet effective, often conveying a profound message or insight without unnecessary words. This term is useful in understanding effective communication styles. Which notable leader won the 2009 Nobel Peace Prize? Barack Obama. Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States, was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2009. The Nobel Committee cited his extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation between peoples. His award, coming less than a year into his presidency, was seen as an encouragement for his vision of a world free of nuclear weapons and his commitment to multilateralism. The Chicxulub crater is a prehistoric impact crater buried underneath the Yucatan Peninsula in what country? Mexico. The Chicxulub crater is a large impact crater buried beneath the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. It is widely recognized as the impact site of the asteroid that caused the Cretaceous Paleogene (KPG) extinction event approximately 66 million years ago, leading to the demise of non-avian dinosaurs and a significant portion of Earth's species. What eponymous 1969 theory blames organizations for promoting managers to levels at which they are incompetent? The Peter Principle. The Peter Principle, formulated by Lawrence J. Peter and Raymond Hull in 1969, is a management concept that states that in a hierarchy, every employee tends to rise to their level of incompetence. This means that individuals who are competent at one level are promoted, and this continues until they reach a position where they are no longer competent, and there they remain. What Rome-founded fashion house and handbag specialist sponsored a €2 restoration of the Trevi Fountain in 2013? Fendi. Fendi, a luxury Italian fashion house founded in Rome, famously sponsored the €2.2 million restoration of the Trevi Fountain, one of Rome's most iconic landmarks, starting in 2013. This initiative, known as Fendi for Fountains, highlights the growing trend of private sector involvement in funding the preservation of cultural heritage sites globally. Bardiche, bill, glaive, halberd, and wolge are types of weaponry. Bardiche, bill, glaive, halberd, and wolge are all historical types of pole arms, which are long-handled weapons used primarily in medieval and early modern warfare. These weapons varied in their specific blade configurations and uses, designed for different combat situations such as piercing armor, hooking cavalry, or delivering powerful cutting blows. They represent key examples of weaponry from a significant period of military history. Scoliosis affects which part of the body? Spine. Scoliosis is a medical condition characterized by an abnormal sideways curvature of the spine. This condition often develops during the growth spurt before puberty and can lead to uneven shoulders, a prominent rib cage, and back pain. Italian Jacopo Peri, 1561–1633, is regarded as the inventor of opera. Jacopo Peri, an Italian composer, is widely credited with inventing opera around the turn of the 17th century. His work, Daphne, circa 1598, is considered the first opera, though only fragments survive, while Eurydice, 1600, is the earliest complete opera still in existence. What is the extremely strong natural glucose-derived polymer of fungi cell walls, crustacean, insect exoskeletons, etc., also used in pharmacy and industry? Chitin. Chitin is a prominent natural polysaccharide, derived from glucose, that serves as a primary structural component in the cell walls of fungi and the exoskeletons of arthropods like insects and crustaceans. Its remarkable strength and biodegradability make it valuable in various biological contexts and for industrial and pharmaceutical applications. Ikebana, English garden, and high style are styles of what? Flower arranging. Ikebana is the traditional Japanese art of flower arranging, known for its minimalist and symbolic approach. The English garden style typically emphasizes natural, abundant, and flowing designs, while high style often refers to elaborate, formal, or avant-garde floral arrangements. What singing voice originally held the melody in choral music? Tenor. In early Western polyphonic choral music, particularly during the medieval and Renaissance periods, the tenor voice was crucial as it often held the main melody or cantus firmus. The term tenor itself originates from the Latin word tenere, meaning to hold, reflecting its foundational role in musical composition. What is the female equivalent of the Oedipus complex in Jungian, Freudian psychosexual theory? Electra. The Electra complex, proposed by Carl Jung, describes a girl's psychosexual competition with her mother for possession of her father. It is often considered the female counterpart to Sigmund Freud's Oedipus complex. Cape, Katanga, Maasai, Barbary and Asiatic are generally considered subspecies of what apex predator? Lion. Lions, Panthera leo, are apex predators known for their distinct subspecies across Africa and Asia. The listed terms refer to geographic or phenotypic variations within lion populations, some of which are extinct, like the Barbary and Cape lions. A still is a measure of luminance. A stilm, SB, is a CGS unit of luminance, equivalent to 1 candela per square centimeter, candela per square centimeter. It quantifies the intensity of light emitted or reflected from a surface in a given direction. Charles Stent practiced what surgery, for which he invented his eponymous technique? Dental. Charles Stent was a 19th-century British dentist known for inventing Stent's impression compound, a material used to take impressions of teeth. His name is now famously associated with the stent, a tube inserted into a natural passage or conduit in the body to prevent or counteract a disease-induced, localized flow constriction. From Greek words meaning flesh preserver, what coal tar oil was widely used in wood treatment and medicine? Creosote. Creosote is a carbonaceous chemical formed by the distillation of various organic materials, primarily coal tar or wood tar. Historically, it was used as an antiseptic, disinfectant, and wood preservative due to its potent antimicrobial properties. The nickname of 9th century Islamic mathematician Abu Ja'far Muhammad ibn Musa, al-Khwarizmi, the man of Khwarizm, is the etymological source of what computing term? Algorithm. Abu Ja'far Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi was a Persian polymath who authored significant mathematical and astronomical works in the 9th century. His name, Latinized as algorithmi, gave us the term algorithm, a fundamental concept in computing and problem solving. What was the name given in ancient Greek mythology to the time or situation before the creation of the universe? Chaos. In ancient Greek mythology, chaos was the primordial void or abyss from which the first gods and the cosmos emerged. It represents the state of disorder and formlessness that existed before the universe took shape, serving as the origin of all existence. What common name is given to the cells which initiate cardiac contraction and thus control heart rate? Pacemaker. The natural pacemaker of the human heart is the sinoatrial (SA) node, a specialized cluster of cells located in the right atrium. These cells generate electrical impulses that propagate throughout the heart muscle, initiating the cardiac cycle and regulating the heart's rhythm and rate. What informal rule, named after Intel Corp's co-founder, predicts the doubling of transistors on microchips approximately every 2 years? Moore's Law. Moore's Law, an observation made by Gordon Moore in 1965, predicts that the number of transistors on a microchip will roughly double every 2 years, leading to exponential increases in computing power. This principle has been a driving force behind technological advancements in the semiconductor industry for decades. What is the formal, systematic, chemical name for the alcohol found in intoxicating drinks? Ethanol. Ethanol, also known as ethyl alcohol, is the chemical compound responsible for the intoxicating effects of alcoholic beverages. It is a primary alcohol with the chemical formula ethyl hydroxide, primarily produced through the fermentation of sugars by yeast. What political speech, campaign term derives from the tradition of cutting down a tree to make a platform for the speaker? Stump. A stump speech is a standard political speech delivered by a candidate during a campaign. The term originates from the historical practice of candidates standing on a tree stump to address audiences in areas without formal platforms. It represents a candidate's core message reiterated across various campaign stops. In chemistry and physics, the tendency of a substance to vaporize is termed volatility. Volatility is a physical property describing how readily a substance vaporizes. Highly volatile substances have a high vapor pressure and low boiling points, meaning they evaporate quickly at ambient temperatures. This concept is fundamental in various scientific and industrial processes, including distillation and solvent selection. Nits, Blondels, Scots, Lamberts, and Foot Lamberts are measures of Luminance. Luminance is a photometric measure of the luminous intensity per unit area of light traveling in a given direction. It quantifies how much luminous power can be perceived by the human eye from a particular surface area. These units, though some are historical or specialized, all relate to the measurement of light emission or reflection from a surface. The steg in Stegosaurus refers to its covering of armored plates. The name Stegosaurus is derived from ancient Greek, with stegos meaning roof or covering and sauros meaning lizard. This etymology refers to the distinctive row of large, flat, armored plates along its back, which were initially thought to lie flat like roof tiles. Modern understanding suggests these plates served functions such as display, defense, or thermoregulation. Weibo is a what in China? Microblog. Weibo, particularly Sina Weibo, is a prominent Chinese microblogging website. Launched in 2009, it functions similarly to platforms like X, formerly Twitter, enabling users to post short messages, images, and videos. It is a major platform for public discourse, social networking, and media consumption in China. What popular food comes from the Oryza sativa and Oryza glaberrima plants? Rice. Oryza sativa, Asian rice, and Oryza glaberrima, African rice, are the two domesticated species of rice. Rice is a staple food for a large portion of the world's population and ranks as the third largest worldwide production crop. A sinkhole is a collapse of the ground into a void below caused by water. Sinkholes are depressions or holes in the ground caused by the collapse of the surface layer. They frequently occur in karst topography, where soluble bedrock like limestone is dissolved by groundwater, creating subterranean voids that eventually collapse.